would create procedures that discriminate on the basis of color or race. They can't legally do that. So they need to get rid of the protections that black people have that allow us the right to vote. And the Supreme Court is already signaling that they might go that direction. Welcome to the think tank. We use creative thinking, deductive reasoning, just a pinch of common sense to draw unbiased and logical conclusions. I'm your host, Leonard Sanderson, here on the think tank today. And my co-host, the Honorable Dion Powell's joined us once again. Dion?
Hey everybody, please excuse the red face. I was in the sun canvassing here in the New Jersey Republican governor's race on a contract. That's what I do, consulting, and it's kind of field operations. This is going to be a good race. I'm also the 78th Sitting District leader in the Bronx, New York, as a community leader, civic provider when it comes to information resources on how to navigate government. And you can see I have a nice little microphone backdrop of South Jersey.
All right. So today we're going to discuss. Oh, there's a lot to talk about. Trump does keep us busy, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who don't know, we are experiencing something called gerrymandering, where in Texas, the second largest state in the entire country, the state that has the most black people in it, they are, well, they're trying to draw lines on a map to limit the black vote. To assist with that, because that is not completely legal, they have also decided that what they're going to do is they're going to try to take away the second section of the Voters' Rights Act. Now, the Voters' Rights Act is the legal jargon, the law that they use to say that we can vote. Here's how it works, right? If there's a law and you go against that law, you've broken that law. And you can be penalized both civil, this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I'm not an attorney. However, from my meager understanding of the law, if there's no law in the books saying a particular statute, or if there's no law, if there's nothing saying this is the law of the land, a judge can interpret a law that's close to it in a way that will encompass whatever infraction might have occurred. However, if there is no law whatsoever to cover something, then no matter how bad it is, you have not broken the law. So the law that protects voters in the state of Texas is called, well, in the country, especially black voters. Let me rephrase. The law that protects black voters is the Voters Registration Act.
Hold it, hold it, hold it. Does the Voting Rights Act only protect the black people, or are black people the PR marketing item of the Voting Rights Act? Are the black people part of the branding of it? I think that's what it is for educational entertainment purposes.
That might be so. However,
Horrible. Tokenism, tokenism.
the history of it is the way the Voters Rights Act came to be was during the civil rights era of the 60s. People fought, they marched, they went to jail, they got attacked by dogs. They were beaten to achieve this right to vote. And finally, it was enshrined in law in 1965,
What
the
expiration
Voters
date?
Rights Act. I'm sorry?
What expiration? It has an expiration date, you know. If they want it to be forever, they have to amend the United States Constitution. But freedmen were already covered by that. So
I understand. So you're saying that we are not protected indefinitely by it. But what's going on now is Trump has realized he can't win this. He can't win. He's going to lose the midterm elections. His popularity is at the lowest of any president in modern day history. Is with all of the people that seem to know something called what do I know? I'm just a filmmaker. These guys that seem to know a little bit more than me, they're all saying that his popularity is the second lowest of any president in modern day history, which seems like it might be bad. It's the lowest of his term for certain, even though he wants to say, oh, I'm at 80%. With the big bad bill that he calls the one big beautiful bill, which, kicks tens of millions of people off of health care, that kicks millions of people off of food stamps. People that are struggling are not happy with him. In red states, people that represent these people in Congress can't go home and have town halls. They're being asked questions like, who pays the tariffs? It's got to be an extremely bad situation, and Trump has realized he couldn't win. So he made a phone call to Governor Abbott of Texas. And I'm going to do my famous Donald Trump impression. Give me
here we go.
five beautiful
Horrible
seats.
impression.
Okay,
What
it's not so
what did
great of an
Donald
impression.
what did Donald Trump say again? Donald Trump?
Give me five beautiful seats.
Oh
So
God.
basically, he was asking for the mayor, the governor, to redistrict or have his people, have his team redistrict Texas in such a way that the Democrats didn't have a vote there, which would be bad because most black people will vote Democratically. There's more black people than any place else in the country, and we're not even going to count us there. And in order to be able to pull this off, because it would kind of technically be illegal under the second. Well, we gotta understand what that is because that's a big sentence, right? So, as people that are familiar with our channel are already aware, Section 2 of the Voters' Rights Act of 1965 prohibits voting practices or procedures that discriminate on the basis of race, color, or membership in one of the language minority groups identified in Section 4.2, 4F2. The important part here is highlight prohibits voting practices or procedures that discriminate on the basis of race or color for that matter.
Oh, now we can expand to people of color, then BIPOC. What next? Labor?
Well, I don't know what's next, but that was straight off the .gov website. So this is what the government says the Voting Rights Act does. Texas presently has this on the docket to be seen and overturned because the way they want to redraw their maps would would create procedures that discriminate on the basis of color or race. They can't legally do that. So they need to get rid of the protections that black people have that allow us the right to vote. And the Supreme Court is already signaling that they might go that direction. Justice Thomas, black man, can't stand the Voters' Rights Act. He wants it gone. So I don't know. I don't quite grasp his reasoning. But since Dion shares similar viewpoints, maybe you would like to tell us what you think and why.
Well, if these protections are so important, number one, don't you think the Democrats would have actually pressed harder when they were in charge of all three areas of the executive branch and Congress to do some more codifying of this? Again, this guy that just told you in one breath, black people. Oh, and by the way, I may have neglected to mention, also it's expanded to people of color, whatever that means. Listen, let's stop dangling the carrot of this voting rights. Donald Trump is not stopping anybody from voting. If you notice, he failed to mention that the other states, like California especially, are trying to gerrymander as well to catch up to Texas to balance the playing field, so they say. Remember? But then I use the word gerrymandering in the media language. Why is that for them? And it's happening at the same time. So listen, family, all that's going to happen is certain congressional members have to work hard for their votes. Now, mind you, did you know that in Texas, there's no registration like in New York of a political party? So you can't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to register for a Republican or a Democrat. You actually have to go to certain political clubs and do it that way. Understand? So again, when it comes to Republicans and Democrats, Texas is a little bit different ball game. Back to you.
Well, I I get what you're saying,
Thank you.
but I think the audience has to understand that when you say a different ball game, because you didn't quite clarify how the ball game is played. So in Texas, as in most Republican red states, there's no rule where the people get to vote on how the gerrymandering is done. So the people in offices just got a phone call, give me 5 beautiful seats. That means cut out the black people because they're going to vote against me. Folk, give me the seats. Give me the representation in the areas that's going to get me votes. Is what that means. So give me 5 more congressmen that'll vote for whatever bills I want to pass. Is what he was saying. That's
Well,
the translation.
well, Leo, once again, you're forgetting the nuances. The people do have a say. All they have to do is lobby and call the representatives and the state legislature of Texas and say, hey, you guys need to vote no on this upcoming
They
piece.
are doing that.
Well, then there you go. So hopefully the
It doesn't mean
constituents,
anything.
yes, it does.
It's not work. It's not.
The constituents are
So
focused.
you don't know that Republicans are literally quitting and giving up on their jobs after this Trump thing? You got Republicans just quitting. They gave up. He was threatening to get them taken out of their positions. What is it called when you primary somebody? Or would you like to
Primary
explain
somebody,
primarying
he's going to
somebody?
primary them.
Would you like to explain it?
He's going to primary them next year or whenever their term is up for reelection. But guess what? The
What the definition? The
Philadelphia's are going to
definition. The
primary
definition.
of what primarying someone.
Yeah, yeah.
That means that the Republicans and Democrats have to have a primary for the person to go into the general election. For example, in New York, Zohar Mamdani is now the Democratic candidate for mayor, and he's going to win, mark my words, against independents and Republican Party. So remember, the big fight in New York, like red states even, is the primary for all Republicans to go against each other. They have one candidate nominee, like the president, go heads up with the other political party's nominee in November, the general election.
All right, that was long-winded. Let me break this down a little easier. So
Okay.
a primary is when people in the same party go against each other to see who's going to win and go against the other party. So if you got 5 Republicans that want to represent Texas, for instance, just random, and they're going to they're not going against the Democrat yet. They're just going against each other to see who's going to get to go against the Democrat. And the Democrats have the same thing. They have primaries also. That's what a primary is. When you get to see who's going to actually represent the party in a locality or what have you, even it's all the way up to the presidency. So when you primary somebody, what the threat is, I'm going to put the weight and money behind somebody else other than the incumbent, the person that's already sitting in the chair, to take their job. I'm going to support somebody else and go against you. That's what primarying means. So the threat is to take their job. I'm sorry, I just got to make it plain English because the way the Republicans say it, people don't like big words like authoritarianism or dictatorship or fascism.
Thank God I'm not a Republican. So try to throw shade. I try to educate people to help them throw shade correctly at me.
That's true. All right. So things are going on like the DC military cleanup, where some people are saying they're happy the military is there, and other people are like, wait a minute, time out. You do understand that you cannot do this legally. We're not going to go over the whole video about it today, but the act is called the Passe Comitatus Act. The
There
Posse
you go.
Comitatus Act is a federal law restricting the use of U.S. armed forces for domestic law enforcement purposes, except for when expressly authorized by Constitution or another act of Congress. So, according to Google Gemini, you cannot send the troops in to cities for law enforcement, like he's threatening to do to Chicago, like he's threatening to do to New York City, like he's done in LA. In Washington, it's a little different. They're not really a city or state. They're kind of like they have some kind
District
of
of Columbia.
quasi status where the president can come in and do
But
that.
it's going to expire. Mayor Bowser, she said herself. At first, she was happy it was going on, and then these people demonized her so much she had to backpedal, apologize, and clarify her statements that she's not, helping out Trump, and she's not going to get over Trump. So the mayor was happy initially that the crime was down, people stopped dying, and all the homicides and gun rates. But no, it's Donald Trump doing it.
Oh, wait, time out. So he put all those troops, all that crime was happening, and he did all that, and people are mad?
Yes, because Donald Trump did, no
No,
matter how
that's
good it
not
is.
what happened.
What
Where are
happened?
that? What happened is he put the troops around. You got to go through checkpoints near the Capitol. The places where the crime was actually happening, there's no troops. Check it out. He did not send
Well,
the troops where the
how
crime
come
is.
how come we can't believe the crime stats that's happening now as opposed to the crime stats before that they're saying, hey, crime was down initially, so they didn't have to do this. So if crime was down initially and crime is going down more so under Trump, why aren't people happy that are in power, the elites and the white liberals that come out of town to protest? The regular people on their regular social media, the poor man's communication and news to social media, they see happy to me. They seem very happy, those black people.
Yes, there are a few people that are happy. There are people that are happy, without question. But the vast majority and reality is his numbers are the worst of any president in modern history. That is an indicative statement that he's doing something wrong. Perhaps that's not it, but perhaps that's something numbers he should pay attention to. Oh,
Not
wait, he
as
can
bad
just
as the
gerrymander. I guess it
Democrats.
doesn't
The
matter.
Democrats are historically lower, and Republican registration of voters is more than the Democrats. Democrats voter registration is down.
So
So
then why does he have to make phone calls to all of these states to try and get more votes if that's the case?
he's not trying to get more votes. He's trying to get more representation of the Republican Party in Congress
But why
because
does
the
he need
census
that?
was
Why does he
done
need to
wrong
do
in
this?
2020.
Why does he need to do it? Why? Why?
Because
If he's doing so great and Democrats are doing so badly, why does he need to try and rig the election?
he's not rigging anything. The thing is, I keep telling people all the time, the most powerful tool that man has, meaning politics, is the ability to create and change the rules. What he's doing is correcting what the census of 2020 failed to do, which is balance even the playing field of representation in the red states who were undercounted by census, which equals representation in Congress, where the blue states were overcounted. Take Massachusetts, it doesn't have a Republican representative even though it has a high amount of Republican registered voters in the state. That's not fair. So let's redraw the line in such a way that people who are registered or theoretically Republican, they have more say and more votes in a new district. That's what
Why
they
would he
want.
have to redraw maps if he was comfortable that he was going to win regardless? If he could support Republicans and they would win, why would he go through the trouble of redrawing the maps and put California in a position that they have to retaliate in order to try and keep a level playing
They
field?
don't have to do anything.
You don't
They
have
voted
to.
entirely.
No, they could just give up the power to the president and just
Well,
never be
guess
able
what?
to
Guess what,
get in
Leo?
again because of the way he wants to
Yeah.
redraw the maps.
Well, guess what, Leo? California, if you want to talk about them, They're going to let the people decide. They're going to put a special referendum up for vote. I believe that the general public can vote in their elections and vote if they want to actually redraw the lines. Is that interesting?
Yes, that's actually coming up, I believe, in November. It's called a special election, if I remember correctly. You probably know more about it than me. So, yes, it does appear, and he definitely knows more about it than me. Don't let this man fool you. So, the
They're
special
going to let
election
the
is,
will of the people. They're going to let the will of people actually redraw lines. Now, is that gerrymandering? I guess the answer would be no, because it's the will of people, right?
so what
Whereas,
you're saying is that the Republicans are gerrymandering and the Democrats are not. You're saying this. Interesting.
no. I'm just saying that if the people vote no and it doesn't happen, then it's not gerrymandering. If the people vote yes and it does happen, maybe it's not gerrymandering as well. But if politicians themselves vote in the legislation, then it's gerrymandering. Long story short, the Democrats are doing it too, but the news media is not going to make you upset that they're
There,
doing what they're
the
doing.
the what you just said was California is giving them a chance, giving the people a chance to do it, and that's not gerrymandering. While Texas is not giving that opportunity, and that is gerrymandering. Those are your. That's what you just explained.
Long story short, the people still love Trump more than the Democrats. Let's move on to the next subject.
I Lois in modern history doesn't seem to agree with you, but
So are the Democrats.
well, by the way, if you're liking this content, please subscribe, like, share, become a part of the critical thinking community. Join us. We will definitely be having more conversations. We'll be explaining things that's going on so that you can be a part of it, so that you can be an educated voter as well, so that you can be a critical thinker. And you can even join us every Sunday, 9 p.m., where we have a community that comes together. We talk about these things, we debate these things, and we're trying to figure out how to have solutions that are not across the line, as they like to, across the aisle, where everybody's fighting. See, we sitting here right now, we talking, we don't agree on everything, but we're not yelling and screaming at each other. We're not talking. I'm not talking to you no more. We're having conversations, and I, in my personal opinion, believe that's important. I think we're going to call it for this one, Dion. Anything you want to say before we go?
Yes, I would like to let everybody know that this is the 1st of September. Early voting is going to happen in October, and mail-in ballots applications probably going out in your state for elections if there is this year. So that's the basic civic education.
All right, thanks for coming. Everybody have a good night.